Thank you, Heavenly Father. Thank you, Lord Jesus. In the mighty name of the Lord Jesus Christ, we pray. So, Heavenly Father, we thank you and we bless your holy name. We connect with the throne of grace and we ask, Lord, that you send the tailor of the word from the throne of grace through your human instrument to blessing to your people. And I pray that that word will change the trajectory of their lives. We believe that, Lord.
Amen.
In power, in great utterance, and with spirit, in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen.
Say thank you, Lord, for answering our prayers. Say, Spirit of God, come and have your way. We hide flesh behind the cross and ask that Christ alone will take the center stage in all that will happen in the rest of the service to the glory of God's holy name.
Amen.
In the mighty name of His Son
Amen.
and our Savior Jesus Christ. And God's people say,
Amen.
and God's people say,
Amen.
Amen and amen. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Very nice. Once again, welcome to church. We'll be continuing the series, The Laws of Spiritual Equilibrium. The laws of what?
Spiritual
Equilibrium. Alright, so this is the third installment and coincidentally also the last. So if you missed the first and the second installment, please just go to our Facebook page and catch up on that. Alright, you can also check that out on my personal Facebook page to catch up on the first and the second installment of the laws of spiritual equilibrium. It's been a phenomenal expedition to the Word of God. I've been revealing truth, profound, practical, and pragmatic truth to God's people as been committed to me as well that the Holy Ghost. So to be a blessing to your lives, just go and check them out. If you missed them, the first and the second installment of the laws of spiritual equilibrium. Praise God. But as a way of doing like a summary, I already defined some of the terms. I defined what a law is. I also define what the word spiritual means and what the word equilibrium means. Praise God. I said a law is a pattern of interconnected causes and events, actions and reactions, choices and consequences, governed by prevailing forces and influences that makes it predictable, alright, and reproducible. That means you can reproduce it and you can predict it. Whenever you see such a phenomenon in operation, you can tell that the law is behind it. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
So, for example, you take a bean seed and you put it to the ground, and after a while it becomes a plant. A law is responsible as well for that phenomenon. It's called the law of sowing and reaping. Right? So the Bible says in Genesis chapter 8 and verse 22, while this earth remains, seed time and harvest, summer and winter, day and night, cold and heat, shall not cease upon the face of the earth. It tells you that your law is in operation. You throw something up, after a few seconds it comes down. And that phenomenon is reproducible and predictable. So it tells you that a law is behind that phenomenon. It's called the law of gravity. That makes sense?
Yes.
That's one law. That's the meaning of the word law. The word spiritual is the word that describes a dimension of reality that cannot be seen, yet it influences the seen realm, the seen world. That thing is called a spiritual thing. Praise God. Am I making sense to us?
Yes.
Alright, and I said that reality can be divided into space, time, and matter. And as it is in the natural realm, also we have in the spiritual. And the spiritual influences the natural. The unseen influences the seen. The astral influences the physical. The ethereal influences the corporeal, and like that. Praise God. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And then finally, I talked about equilibrium as being a state where the prevailing influences and forces upon the body have counterbalanced or have balanced out. So, for example, somebody is pulling me this way, and another person is pulling me this way. If their forces cancel out or counterbalance, I will be in equilibrium because his force has balanced his force. I am in equilibrium. A state where the prevailing forces and influences acting upon the body have balanced out, have counterbalanced themselves. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Then I talked about a man called Sir Isaac Newton, an English scientist of renown, who wrote a publication, a scientific publication called Philosophiae Naturalis, Principia Mathematica, that's Latin. But in English, it means the mathematical principles of natural philosophy. That's making sense. And in that book, he describes the laws of mechanics and the laws of motion, the first, the second, and the third law. And what I've done in previous installments is to give an extrapolation and a reconciliation of these laws of mechanics with the laws of spiritual equilibrium. Praise God. So in the first sermon, I talked about the first law of motion. What does God say? And the body will continue in a state of rest or uniform motion unless an influence or a force from without compels that body to behave otherwise. And I said that spiritually, you will remain where you are if you continue doing what you've been doing. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
So it is true naturally as much as it is true spiritually. So if you want to take charge of your spiritual life, you need to as well summon or command an external force to push you from the state of rest to a state of motion. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
You don't wish to have a prayerful life. You get up and you pray using the help of the Holy Ghost. So that's the application of the first law of motion. Am I making sense?
Yes.
Praise God. Then I talk about the second law of motion that says that the force with which a body moves is proportional to the product of its mass and its acceleration. Also, by modifying that equation, you can come up with another equation that the momentum or the impetus or the impact of an object in motion is a product of its mass and its velocity. And now, what is the application of this law? Here's what it is. If you do not have as much of a spiritual capacity as a man who has been in God for years has, what do? Because you cannot immediately modify your mass. What do? You modify your velocity. That means you can move faster. So, for example, this is a practical application of that law. You know a man who can pray for 4 hours and is stretched, but you can't pray for 4 hours and is stretched. So what do? You pray 1 hour and is stretched 4 times. When it makes sense.
Yeah.
You pray 1 hour and is stretched 4 times. That way you end up still praying for 4 hours. Just as the man has capacity. That is the application of the second law of motion, spiritually. Praise God. Now the third law of motion is what I now want to teach us and then extrapolate its application even to the spiritual. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Now the third law of motion says that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if I punch, for example, a wall, that wall produces a reaction that also impacts upon my fist. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That is the third law of mechanics, classical mechanics, or the third law of motion. How do we apply this spiritually? Now, let me back up a bit and just say this. Anytime 3 things, please let me be very careful, in a man's spiritual life are lacking, that man cannot continue in devotion to God. Do you hear what I said? Every time 3 important elements are lacking in a man's spiritual experience, a man's spiritual encounter with God, that man will not continue in devotion to God. And there's something that God does. God will produce an action to you as a believer, but it's your responsibility now to produce a consequent reaction if you are to remain in equilibrium with God. Am I making sense? God will produce an action, but you will produce a reaction. Praise God. Now listen to me very, very carefully, because this is the completion of this series. And if you can grab this, friends and brethren, your spiritual life will take a radical turn for the better. The trajectory of your life will be reset and you'll be placed on a higher pedestal with Christ.
Amen.
Would that be your portion in the mighty name of Jesus?
Amen.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Now watch it very carefully. The first element that you must continually intermeddle with to remain in equilibrium with God is desire. I said the first element is what? Desire. The second is hope. Write it down. Hope. And the third is trust. The first one is desire. The second is what? Hope. And the third is trust. Now, the job of a preacher is not complete until a teacher comes around. Oftentimes, we use the word hope, faith, trust. We just use it interchangeably without really understanding what they mean. So, for example, you might want to say, I trust in God. It says, I believe in God. Or it says, I hope in God. They're not the same thing. But I will make an attempt, or I'll say, to describe and define these terms so that you have a clearer understanding of what they mean. Praise God. Once again, the first element that you must continually have to remain in spiritual equilibrium with God is desire. The second is hope. The third is what? Trust. So let's pick desire. Number one, desire. Desire. Now let me be very careful. No man of his own accord can produce a desire for what he does not know. This is why God will first of all give you an experience, and then afterwards a desire for that experience will come. Desire is of the spirit as hunger is of the soul. Am I making sense to us? So God's action towards you is to give you a taste or an experience of a good thing. And then afterwards, you of your own will begins to produce a desire for that thing. So the psalmist says, "Oh, taste and what? See that the Lord is good." Am I making sense? That's in Psalm 34 verse 8 or thereabouts. And then in 1 Peter chapter 2 verse 2, Peter, the apostle of the Lord Jesus Christ, says this: as newborn babes, it says desire. What is it? Desire. The sincere milk of the word of God, that you may grow thereby. Having tasted and seen that the Lord is good. In other words, your desire for the word of God will come because you have first of all tasted. Without tasting to have an experience, you would never desire that thing. For example, I cannot desire a Turkish cuisine because I've never eaten any food from Turkey. I can't desire what I've not tasted. I need to have an experience of that good thing, that pleasurable thing, for me to have a desire for it. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
That's why if you don't give a child meat, red meat that has blood, if you don't give a child that while he's growing up, he will grow up to be a vegetarian. And if you give him meat, he might puke, he might throw up. Why? It's a foreign thing to him. Because all the while he was growing up, he never had the experience of red meat that has blood and hypoxanthine and some other chemicals like that. So you can only desire what you have a taste of, what you have an experience of, and it's pleasurable. Now, watch it very carefully. No man desires what he tasted and eats. Now, let me say a joke with this. I'm a pharmacist, right? And by experience, I know that some drugs are sweet tasting because they have what we call the hydroxyl functional group, OH. So things like sugar, things like glycerol, they have the hydroxyl functional group, so they taste sweet to your taste bud. But if I give you chloroquine now, we desire that one. Praise God. We desire chloroquine.
No.
Why? It's bitter. So it is not just an experience that you desire, it's a good or a pleasurable experience. Right? So we tell young people abstain from premarital sex. Because it's a pleasurable thing that you engage in, you know what to stop. The same thing. Any experience that is good or pleasurable, you automatically begin to desire it. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
So the reason why a lot of people don't desire God is because they've not had an experience with Him. So seek experiences with God, and then the desire for Him will come. There is a problem if a child just says, "I don't desire food," I don't desire milk or egg. There's something physiologically wrong with that child. The same thing can be said about the believer who doesn't desire anything about God. There's something wrong with that person. Praise God. So you must what? Seek for experiences. So that afterwards you begin now to automatically desire Him. Proverbs 18 verse 1 says, through what? Desire. A man having separated himself, it says, seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. So this is how to generate desire from God. Number one, you need to be aware that there are experiences, that there are dimensions in God. Praise God. You also pray, for example, in the healing ministry, in the healing possibility, you need to be aware that there's something called healing in the first place. Praise God. You shall lay hands on the sick and the sick shall recover. You need to read that part of the Bible. And when you do, you are aware now that there's the possibility of me operating in the healing gifts, in the healing office, in the healing dimension, in the healing possibility in the kingdom. There's an awareness. Now you begin to create an expectancy for it. Please don't be very, very closely. You begin to produce an you begin to have an expectation to operate in that dimension. So begin to set yourself, begin to speak to yourself, within yourself that I can operate in this dimension. I'll be used by God mightily in the healing ministry. You are creating an expectation. Am I making sense?
Yes, sir.
Eventually, God will give you a taste of it. And then that experience will leave you with a desire for the same thing. Awareness, expectation, experience, the hunger will come. Do we get the trajectory?
Yes.
You need to be aware that the possibility is there. Then expect it to be yours. You will test and have an experience of the same, and afterwards, you will not begin to automatically desire the same thing. As you want me to desire. The sincere milk of God's word, that you will grow there by having tasted and seen that the Lord is good. Praise God. Hallelujah. So God will give you an experience. You will now produce a desire. God's action, this is the application of the law. God's action will produce your reaction. His experience that He leaves you with will now produce a desire for the same thing continually. Praise God. The second thing is what? Hope. Hope. Praise God. Hope. Now, faith, please hear me very carefully. I need to teach here. Praise God. Faith is an action that comes from God. Praise God. You know, often make the mistake of saying, no, be a strong man of faith. You can't be a strong man of faith until God speaks. Praise God. Romans 10 and verse 17 says, "What faith? So then, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by what? Now, can you hear if somebody did not speak? So how can faith start with you? So this is the mistake I'm making in the body of Christ. Be a man of faith, be strong in faith. How can you be strong in faith if you do not hear the voice of God in the first place? Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Romans 4:20. And Abraham staggered not at the promises of God through unbelief, but was strong in faith, giving glory to God. So we oftentimes quote that scripture, be like Abraham, be strong in faith. But Abraham heard the voice of God. Because faith will not come until the voice of God is heard. As a matter of fact, faith is birthed at the point where the voice of God is heard. Am I preaching?
Yes.
Now, when faith comes, it also comes with a word and instruction. But like the voice of a man, after a while, that voice will fusing away. You are left with the word that the voice brought. That word gives you hope. The voice brings faith. The words it leaves brings hope. Am I making sense?
Yes.
So the psalmist says, I hope on your word. Not I hope on faith. I hope on the voice. No. The words that the voice of God brings is what gives us with hope. So the Holy Ghost gave me an axiom about 2 weeks ago. He said, hope is the assurance that is left when the voice of faith has gone. Hope is the assurance left behind when the voice of faith has gone. Because the voice will come, the voice will go. For example, if I keep talking now, you can't hear my voice anymore. You see that? That silence is not faith anymore. But the words that he's speaking, you can still write them down and then hope on the word. That intermeddling with what I said will bring hope. But the voice of God is what brings faith. Praise God. So the Bible says in Hebrews 11 verse 1 that hope is faith is the substance of things hoped for. The evidence of things not seen. So when faith has come and done its work, it leaves you with hope. And that's why I tell people that always document your encounters with God. When you hear the voice of God, write down what you heard. The voice will go, but the words will remain. And you can always go back to the words and say, Lord, you said this at this time, on this particular day. I hope thou Lord in your words. And when you do that, another time again, his faith, his voice will make it you. Praise God. Yeah. So hope always places us on the path where faith will encounter us one more time. Let's make it sense. Very, very deep. Hope will place you on the path where faith will eventually come and will encounter you. So write down all the things that God does for you. All the things He says, write it down and hope on that word. Am I making sense now? This is the second element that should be alive in your devotion to God. If it's lacking, there's going to be a problem eventually. You will not continue devotion to God. Praise God. The third element that should be present, the third element that should be present in your devotion to God to ensure that you remain in spiritual equilibrium with Him is what? Trust. Trust. Now, hear me very carefully. This is very deep. I'm excited. Praise God. Now, what is trust? Let me explain to you. You see, trust is the result of keeping your word, alright, with a work. Let me explain. If I tell you I will do A, B, C for you, and I do it, your trust in me will rise up. And wow, this guy kept his word. I thought he was joking. He kept his word. You will trust me. Praise God. But if I tell you I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then I start telling you stories, your trust in me begins to wane. That's why you may love everybody as a commandment, but you have to trust by discretion. There is no commandment that says you must trust the man. God forbid. It's not in the Bible. We are commanded to love, not to trust. Trust comes when you are a person of integrity yourself. What you say, you do. Your work and your word are integral or integrated one with the other. And I can trust you. I give you money, you do what you said you do with the money, I will trust you. Praise God. But if a man breaks your heart, for example, maybe he tells you a lie, or tells you a lie, Bible still says you love him, but Bible does not say trust him. Praise God. Yeah. Trust grows when a man's word is confirmed by his work. Trust will naturally grow. And that's why for people who are in relationships, marriage, covenant relationships, and things like that, you have to be very careful. Because if there's a track record of lack of integrity, trust becomes the problem. And there is no commandment that says you must trust the person. Not even in marriage. Praise God. You must love is a commandment. But trust is at your discretion. Praise God. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons why we have divorce now in marriages is because of the issue of trust. Not really love. Trust. Praise God. So we need to be very careful. Now, how does this apply to us spiritually? Well, turn our Bibles with me to Proverbs 3 verse 5. I'm not really turning the Bible today. I'm quoting from my heart. Proverbs 3 verse 5. It says, trust in the Lord with all your heart, right?
Yes.
And lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, it says, acknowledge him and he will direct your path. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
To trust in God is to lean on him like you have no other foundation. Praise God. That is trusting in God with all of your heart. You are leaning on him so that God forbid if he goes away, you will fall. That's what it means to trust somebody. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
This is deep. So once again, let me just say this axiom to capture the essence of my point. I said hope is the assurance left, right, when faith is gone, right? But trust is the confidence gained when the work has been done. You catch that? That's deep. Now, while hope is the assurance left after faith has gone, trust is the confidence gained when the work has been done. You will trust a staff, you will trust a husband, you will trust a wife, a friend, a father. When they do the work that they said they will do with their words, trust me, naturally grow. Praise God. And God is like that. He is a man of his word, of his word. So shall my word be that goes forth out of my mouth. It will not return unto me void, but it will accomplish that which I please and prosper in the thing whereunto I have sent it. Isaiah 55 verse 11. For God is not a man that he should lie, but the Son of Man that he should repent. Has he said it and will he not do it? Has he spoken and will he not make it good? Numbers 23 verse 19. The psalmist talks about God in this manner, that God upholds his word above all of his name. Call him anything you want to call him, Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Elohim, whatever it is. He says that his word he has exalted above all the name that people call him. That's how much he holds his word. So that he watches over his word to bring it to what conclusion. That is why he's a God that we should trust in. Praise God. Now, watch very carefully. Remember, he said something. So it is God's nature to give an action. We are to respond with what? A reaction. So when God does what he says, praise God. When God does what he says, because he's said what he will do, it's now your own responsibility to trust him. When you don't trust God, I submit to you that after a while, you will be crippled or paralytic in your devotion to him because you don't trust him. So, for example, God said, I'm going to get you this job, or I'll get you, this promotion, or I'll get you this contract, and you can't trust that word. Then God can't work with you as well. There's a problem somewhere. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
It is God's role and responsibility to say what he will do and do what he has said, but it's your own responsibility to trust him. It is your own response, your own reaction to trust in God. Trust in the Lord with all of your heart. And lean not on your own understanding. In all of the ways, acknowledge him, and then he will direct your path. So there's no trust in God. How can he direct your path? Is it not connected? If there is no trust in God, have an issue, then how can he direct your path? Because you will not be willing to be directed. Praise God. This is one of the ways that we remain in spiritual equilibrium. Because this is the third element that must be present if we are to remain in vital nexus and spiritual equilibrium with God. Praise God. My prayer therefore to everybody who is online and who is here as well, that these things will make sense to you.
Amen.
That you will desire God.
Amen.
That you will hope in God.
Amen.
And that you will trust in this God.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Jesus Christ.
Amen.
Every jinx and spell that is producing spiritual stagnancy, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ and by the power of his Holy Ghost, I break it off of your life.
Amen.
And by prophetic word, I push you into your next season.
Amen.
With your relationship, with your fellowship with God. In the mighty name of Lord Jesus Christ. You agree with God. How are you believing Him? You've been concordance with Him.
Amen.
You've been communion with Him.
Amen.
You've been fellowship with Him.
Amen.
Continually.
Amen.
In the mighty name of Lord Jesus Christ.
Amen.
I pray for your life. You see, guys, you can make all the money you want to make in this world, have all the assets, acquire all the material infrastructures. You don't have God. If you don't possess the strong fellowship with God, I want to go respect you at all, because all of those things can go in one day. Praise God. It's not me. But the man who has known God, who knows God experientially, who has perfected his fellowship with Him, can gain every other thing. Praise God. For what shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world, like some of us are trying to do, yet lose his whole soul together? Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Don't glory in what you have, the assets, the infrastructures, the money, the properties and the lands. No. You should rejoice in what you have in God, what you know in God, your relationship with Him, your fellowship with Him. Praise God. That's what you have. See, your treasure should be God. And that's where your heart should be. Matthew chapter 6 and verse 21. At some point, Jesus told a man, say, sell what you have, come and follow me. Then how can assets be the index upon which people will now build their trust or confidence in? How can that be? When Jesus told a man, you are a rich young ruler, understand, now sell what you have, give to the poor, and then come and follow me. It tells you something that all of these things that people are seeking after, the Gentile vanities, money, assets, land, they are good, but they should never replace the place of God. God should always be number one, the throne upon your heart. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all of these other things shall be added unto you. God will give it to you when you have secured Him as a treasure. But seek ye first the kingdom of God. Is that also? Praise God. Let me tell you something, friend, as I round up with this sermon. The world can give you anything you want, but it will take something that you need eventually. Let me be very careful. There is a law that says that the higher will influence the lower. Hebrews 7 and verse 7, for without controversy, without contradiction, the less is blessed by the better or influenced by the better. So the spiritual always influences the natural. Let me tell you something. Please, I want you to listen to me very carefully. This was not part of my sermon, but I'm flowing under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit. If the world ever gives you a solution that's taking something from you that you may not need now, but eventually you later want. Do you know what I said? So Proverbs 10 verse 22, what did he say? That the blessing of the Lord, He makes rich. But hold on, He qualifies how this riches comes. And He says it adds no sorrow with it. That means the world can give you riches, but it will also give you sorrow in the process. How does the sorrow come? Number one, it will take away something precious from you and put upon you something too grievous for you to bear. It will give you riches, but also sorrow at the same time. Let me give you an example as a pharmacist. Most people suffer from a condition known as clinical depression. I used to be here. And the first kind of treatment of that condition is what we call TCA, a tricyclic antidepressant. Alright? It's a non-selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. That's pharmacology. That's my name. But what it does is it tries to upregulate and increase brain serotonin so that you feel happy, so you feel good. But here's the problem. Because that intervention is natural, it's not spiritual. It will take care of the depression, but also cause something else called a side effect that you may not know until when you want something and you see it's not there anymore. So if you're a man, I believe that people who are watching me are all mature people. If you're a man, for example, to give a condition as erectile dysfunction. So if you're married, you have a problem with your wife. Now, it has taken care of clinical or biological depression, but now it's giving you psychological depression. Because now you're not going to be happy. And then you go back to the doctor. You see what I'm saying? That how the world gives solutions like this, it rearranges the circumstances and the possibilities to give you what you need, but take away what you may want eventually. So, I said that to say this. It will give you riches, but will add sorrow with it. You may not know now, but later you will know. But when God makes a man rich, when God blesses a man, no sorrow whatsoever is attached to it. Because the blessing comes from above. For every good gift comes from above. It comes from the Father of light, in whom there is no variableness nor shadow of turning. James chapter 1 verse 17. That's why I'm telling you that you need to be spiritually stable. You need to know this God for yourself. Don't let what people are telling you about God be what drives you or what you're led by. Know God experientially, personally. Praise God.
Hallelujah.
Praise God.
Hallelujah.
God will bless you, but will add no sorrow with it. But when the word blesses you, as in quote, there will be sorrow that eventually you may get to find out. But I pray for you today that your walk is going to become stronger.
Amen.
For in Him you will live, you will move, and you will have your being. In the mighty name of the Lord Jesus. When you are, just bow your head and close your eyes and commune with God and say, Lord, enough of playing church, enough of playing games. I want to grow stronger with you. Praise God.